We are back. We are here. Welcome, everybody, to the return of the Cardfight Vanguard episode reactions. I've been gone. I'm sorry. It's been a few busy weeks, getting tournaments, life shit, screaming at the Academy Awards, all that good stuff. But we are here once again to discuss, what is it, the past 3 episodes of Vanguard? Shit, I'm bad at time management. Yeah, 3 episodes of Vanguard, and fortunately, there's some good shit to talk about, because fortunately, they've gotten into gear of actually trying to develop these plot lines and world-building things that they've just looked like they were abandoning, and they've actually come. Some would argue a few episodes too late. I would argue that. But they're trying, and you gotta appreciate the effort. Now, 2 of these episodes did this, and the first episode from like 3 weeks ago was not very good. So we'll quickly just go over that. It's just more of the same shit. The scatterbrained plot, the lack of me being able to take the Psyqualia zombies seriously, the complete bizarreness that is the way they're handling Ibuki, and also just the one thing I want to touch on, I really could not stand the comedy relief in that episode, namely from Shingo and Rekka. Like, the idea of everyone having their minds controlled should be a lot more scarier than Shingo just being a dumb comedy relief idiot. And that sucked, especially the bit where Rekka's escaping in the box. And I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be afraid of these people. I'm supposed to be afraid of what they can do. You're too late for goofy shit. Like, if you want to have comedy relief, that's fine, but it's got to actually function and fit within the story and not just be a clear way to end a scene. And it sucks because the scene was finally getting interesting. Now, don't get me wrong, that fight between Ibuki and Kyo was shit. Especially Kyo's weird-ass 2-minute glimpse into the future. Like, is that how Psyqualia works now? Is that how zombie version of Psyqualia works now? Whatever, Ibuki still wins, we all saw that coming. But then Aichi actually sort of stands up for a moral. Aichi is fundamentally against Ibuki, and that is made clear. This is very important as we go further into this season, and Aichi needs to have an actual moral high ground, something he never had in the original. So that's important. Also, I should probably go over the thing with Kyo. So it seems like Kyo's reaction to losing to Deleters seems much more extreme than Tetsu's was. Kyo seems like he's lost all memory of Vanguard and has lost all drive in life in general. I don't know if this is an attempt to try and make the whole thing seem scarier, what Ibuki's doing. I don't know if this is a plot device, as this is what pushes Aichi to want to stand up to Ibuki, seeing that I want to believe that Aichi believes that messing with anyone's mind is wrong. Bullying someone in that sense, I think the show always needs to go back to the concept of someone being bullied. That idea that you just force someone to think a certain way, you alter their mind a certain way, you do all those things. I like to believe Aichi is just against that. And that is why seeing Kyo like that makes him rise up. I'm also willing to believe the reason that Kyo's reaction was much more extreme than Tetsu is because Kyo just had one crazy brain-altering thing happening to him, and then another one happens, and then it all just kind of goes boom, and, like, this is the reaction. That's why it's more extreme. We'll never get a real answer to that, but that's what I choose to believe. Also, I love the scene of Kamui trying to actually help the little idiot. Yeah, like, I like the bit in Card Capital, Kamui's like, no, you are a Vanguard fighter, Zanbaku, all this stuff. It's great because it's great character development for Kamui, something Kamui never gets, because Kamui's whole character seems to be that he is just a selfish, loud little shit. And making it that he's going out of his way, helping someone for no reason other than the fact that it's the right thing to do, especially someone who's mostly just been a jerk to you, I think is a really good scene for Kamui, and a really just great moment. Also, it keeps Kyo in the plot, and I feel like that's kind of important considering he's a character who the show has always been sort of confused about what they're supposed to do with him. From there, the only other thing of note in that episode is the Kai scene with Tetsu and Ren is hilarious. Yes, naked Ren in front of Kai is probably going to spawn more shipping memes, but I love it. I watched the freaking sitcom that is the three of them as roommates. That was just hilarious. More personality for Kai, the better. Then we move on to the next episode, and that being, what's his face? Naoki versus Aichi. The first thing to note about this episode is actually that little conversation between Tetsu and Suiko. Yeah, it sucks my theory of what was going to happen to Suiko did not come true, but I think that scene is a nice setup for what is to come, and that is the two characters who were schemers. The two characters who were portrayed as wanting to know everything, who were going to do whatever it takes to, like, be on top and be knowledgeable, are the ones who now have to throw in the towel and just admit how small they are. That comes into play with the actual fight, and I really actually liked what they did here. I liked the idea that in Naoki's head, it just seems like it's just a constant stream of, like, Korin whispering in his ear, telling him how much of a shit he is. Like, basically making him constantly remember how he didn't defend Aichi, reminding him how his family thinks about him, how his brother talks down to him, all that just constantly going through his head. Again, it doesn't really, it's not consistent with what's been going on with the Psyqualia zombies. That is something you should definitely put in more of if you want us to care about this plot line, but they didn't, and I'm at least glad it's here. And I like that idea that Aichi, again, takes the initiative. Aichi tries to reason with him. Aichi tries to get through to him, and Aichi actually uses his Psyqualia in a constructive way. He uses it to reach past Naoki, to get to him inside and talk to him. And at first, I actually didn't like this, because I'm just like, oh no, it's just the power of friendship, blah, blah, blah. But that's not what happens. Like, Aichi loses. Like, Naoki isn't stronger than the deleters. He isn't stronger than the influence on him, because Naoki's just a normal guy. He's just 1 out of 7 billion humans, and yes, he wants to better himself, and he has a much more stronger will than most, and can resist, but ultimately, he's just another human. It's a great way to remind us how small everyone is in this. Every one of our human characters, obviously minus the 4 supernatural people, is just a normal person. Aichi, everyone, even with Psyqualia, he's not that much more stronger than anyone else. He's still victim to everything. And showing that even with the ultimate cliched power of friendship trying to save you, it's not enough. And it makes me really appreciate, and it makes me feel how precious the bonds these characters have, that Aichi fights to the end to try and do it, and how close he gets. How it really does come so through, to the point where it is almost enough to break through, but just still not enough. It maintains a power level for the villains, and it maintains the moral high ground for the heroes. And when Aichi loses, son of a bitch, it actually is a painful scene. And then everyone's unconscious, and then Misaki does everything to why Misaki is best girl, and I loved this week's episode. Now, before anyone says it, it is not because it is a waifu-focused episode. It is not completely because it was a waifu-focused episode. It's like 50% not because it was a waifu-focused episode. Okay, it was a Misaki-focused episode. You knew I was going to like it. But just in general, this was great. First up, another character who is not a male power fantasy character is taking initiative. Misaki decides herself, I'm going to go straight to the source. I'm going to find Korin, and then I'm going to beat her up, and then I'm going to wrestle her, and then I'm going to rip her shirt a little, and then she's going to rip mine, and then nope, stay focused. The scene, oh yeah, also the big thing with the Suiko scene is she tells Tetsu that if the head of it loses, everyone they infected goes away. I didn't need that scene. I'd rather they just come to that conclusion naturally. It seems fairly obvious. But whatever. This is what then convinces Misaki that she can fix everything by beating Korin. So she goes to fight Korin, and the driver lady is like, save Korin. I don't know why, if Takudo has the ability to wipe people's minds and make them into whatever the fuck he wants, why does he not do it to his driver? But whatever. So Misaki goes in, and she goes up against Korin, and at first you think it's sort of going to be like what you were expecting from last week, power of friendship, and this time it was, but what made this work is they went so much deeper into the characters. they went so much further into who Misaki is, who Korin is, which is great, because I thought for certain they would never do anything with the fact that Korin is a cold walker, whatever the fuck this is. But what's very smart and very good about it is that they bring it back to that concept that this is wrong, like what is happening to these three women. And I love the scene where Korin's just basically saying, I never had anything. Like, I didn't even have an identity. Like, she is just a tool to be used by Takano. And the way she describes it, of whatever he wants, whoever he is just whatever I am. It's such a sad, tragic moment where you're just shown all the sadness of this girl's life, that she doesn't have a life. She is a tool. She is a weapon. And I like the scene with Misaki's drama. I like that it's not just a repeat of telling us the parents are dead. It goes much further than that. It shows Misaki as a little girl. It shows her in the car accident. It shows you the visceral pain of the whole thing. And I love how it's Korin trying to use that to mess with Misaki, throw her off her game. The tone she uses is very, like, strong and controlling, and trying to definitely just taunt her and just bring her down. Like the same way she was in Naoki's head trying to bring her down, she's trying to do that to Misaki as well. Like, it's such a great bit, and the way Misaki responds, like, Korin flat out says, didn't come to this school to make friends. I'm not your friend. I was sent here to watch Aichi. But Misaki, just like, she wants to hold on. She wants to keep that sense of friendship she now has. And when she is able to push through, when she is able to win and reach Korin, it just puts a smile on your damn face. It's such a great scene. It is such great character development for the two. I hope this means they will go into more darkness with the Cold Walkers when the arc is over. I would love that. I'm not holding my fingers crossed, though, because we know what happened when I did it last time. But this was a fantastic episode. A really beautiful way to show off these characters. Not that they need much more of it. Know what I'm saying? But this was fantastic. And I hope that this is what they're trying to do with everything else. I can live with the poorness of the way the Psyqualia zombies are done if we are going to get the writing the script needs. That is what it ultimately comes down to. But tell me what you thought about these couple episodes below. If you like getting a Misaki-focused episode, if you would like it if we focus more on Aichi, because they once again at the end of this shoot their world building in the foot. I don't know why Misaki, when Takano runs into the room, doesn't pick something up and like throws it at him. Like, get away from me, weird alien boy. But then he's like, I wouldn't give up my best weapon. And then Aichi wakes up, and I'm just sitting there like, wait, I thought this, what? I don't know. We'll see about that next week. As for the Vanguard question of the week, Vilest Deleter is coming. I think it's this month. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's almost here, guys. And I'm noticing a lot of people are saying deleters are actually bad. I don't really follow the Japanese tournament circuit that much, unless it's something like Worlds. But also, our formats can be different based on the way our players are. American players in most card games tend to be more aggressive than Japanese players. Maybe deleters will show up. I know some people are thinking premium deleters could be a lot of fun. Do you think deleters will have meta relevancy? Personally, I don't know. I've never been a fan of Link Joker's playstyle, because even when Link Joker was bad, it was annoying. And then when it got too strong, it got oppressive. So yeah, tell me what you think of that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week where I hope to get this out on time. Hopefully.